What's up everyone, my name is PT from Charlie Intel. Welcome to part 3 of our Black Ops 3 discussion where we talk about all the things surrounding Black Ops 3 itself in terms of the reveal last week, as well as some things we found out from David Vonderhaar himself on Twitter. So today we're going to discuss more specifics relating to perks, as well as kill streaks, map design and score streaks. With me today I have Mr. Ali A, who of course is a big YouTuber in the Call of Duty scene, as well as a Wizite, who is a Destiny YouTuber who also covers Call of Duty. So we're going to jump straight into the first bit. Just before I start, just to let you know, we have had 2 parts of this already. So part 1 we discussed things surrounding movement specialists and supply drops, and then part 2 we discussed things surrounding glitch and skill-based matchmaking. So if you want to check those out, I'll put the link in the description for you right now, and also on the blog itself. So if you're watching this on charlieintel.com, I'll put the links in the description, or should I say on the actual article itself as well. So anyway guys, let's jump into the first bit, which is of course Dead Silence, Scavenger are returning as perks in Black Ops 3, and Toughness will not be returning, and Lightweight is at the moment kind of hit or miss. Now let's just clarify one point here. This is actually pre-alpha, I think it is, so this is not fully confirmed, but there is a slight chance that this may change at some stage as they're developing the game and getting it towards the gold stage later towards November 2015. So again, we have Mr. Allier in the chat right now, who's actually played Black Ops 3. So if you want to kick us off, what you think about the fact we have Dead Silence and Scavenger returning, but we're not going to have Toughness and potentially not Lightweight either. So what do you think of that?
So unfortunately I can't comment much on Dead Silence because the pre-alpha build actually had no footstep sounds at all. Like they hadn't even coded that into the game. So I believe Dead Silence and Awareness were both in the same perk slot. So if you wanted to have, better hearing of footsteps, or if you wanted to make your footsteps silence, you couldn't have, they were in the same perk slot. So yeah, I can't comment on it, but it's returning, as you said, if you're a competitive player, you like to silence your footsteps, and you can do that. Scavenger, I'm not sure if I use Scavenger. I think it just worked in the same way. Like, if you killed someone with an explosive, they wouldn't drop a Scavenger pack. If you killed them with your gun, they drop a little pack. You could pick up some ammo. And then Lightweight. I'm not sure, again, if that was in the build that we played. But it's one of those sort of typical perks that's been in Call of Duty for a long time. But the big one is Toughness, because obviously, when I play multiplayer, I've always got Toughness on. Having that reduced flinch when you're being shot at is absolutely huge. But in this game, they've sort of taken the amount of flinch you'd get without Toughness and with Toughness, found like an even middle ground, and that's what everyone's going to be getting constantly. And I think I like it. I think it means that if you're good with your aim and you're good with controlling your recoil, it's going to really benefit you. I'm not sure what James or your PT think about that, but I think it's a good thing, and I think it's going to mean that gunfights are going to be more even, and you don't have so much pressure to always be using that Toughness perk. I think that's what they wanted to move away from, is perks that everyone's using and feel like they have to use, taking it away and just making it standard so that you don't have to rely on it, and you can switch up your perks choice a little bit more.
I hear you. Wizard, do you want to comment at all?
Yeah, no, if it's balanced, then that's all well and good, but which I'm sure it will be because everyone gets the same thing. But I am kind of sad to see it go because, like Ali said, it's something that I use all of the time, and it's probably a bad thing, but I kind of rely on it as well. There's nothing worse than shooting at someone, but yet when you're shooting them, they're shooting you back, and then there's too much kick on the gun. So kind of sad to see that go. I hope they put Dead Silence in because that's another perk that I rely on. I'd love to play Search and Destroy on Call of Duty, and that's just a massive, massive perk, and especially for somebody who plays with a headset. And I think the majority of people nowadays do play with headsets, so I feel like Dead Silence is a needed perk.
Yeah. I don't want to touch on this too much, but we did, because we have actually discussed this in the first part where we had Mr. Dalek Jade in the chat. But since you're in the chat, Ali, one big thing is movement that everyone's talking about right now, given the fact, although exosuits aren't present in Black Ops 3, there is a similar kind of movement system. Of course, we also have wall running as well. Can you give a quick summary of what you think and how it acts within Black Ops 3 as opposed to Advanced Warfare and, let's say, a more standard game like Black Ops 2 where it's a more grounded experience? So do you think it's a step in the right direction from Advanced Warfare? Is it an improvement, or is it is it detrimental to the overall experience when we finally play it?
So having gone from playing Advanced Warfare to playing Black Ops 3 to coming back home and playing Advanced Warfare again, it's made me realize how far Advanced Warfare really pushed and relied on the movement features. Everything requires a double jump to get to a lot of positions on the map. Everything's high up in the air. Whereas Treyarch's philosophy when it comes to game design is, I can't remember exactly what they called it, but I think it was in frame. So if you're staring dead forward on a map, they want all the action to be within your frame, within that screen size. Whereas in Advanced Warfare, a lot of the action will be happening above that frame size. You have to constantly be looking up and down. So in terms of Black Ops 3, I said this in one of my videos, I'd say 85 to 90% of gunfights were traditional gunfights happening on the ground, with 10% of those gunfights being like obscure new features. So maybe you're shooting someone that's wall running, maybe somebody happens to be in the middle of their thrust jump. Like these new movement features aren't going to be happening all the time, and you aren't reliant on them. It's if anything, they've put it in the game just to make traversing around the map easier. So you don't have to worry about climbing up ladders, because ladders are completely gone, and you can't do that reaction in the middle of a gunfight, double tap jump, and you're suddenly up in the air. Like it takes a while to build up your height. And it's, yeah, like they've really toned it down and thought about how this should work and made it work in a way that makes sense but isn't dominating how you play the game. As I said, most of the gunfights be happening in your traditional on foot sort of scenarios. So I think they've done a good job. And if you don't like Exos, you don't need to worry too much. Like this is not as powerful or as quick as Exos and isn't as reliant on Exos.
Okay, so like just to clarify, so if I want to, let's say, get onto the top of a ledge or get on top of a building, I still have the ability, of course, to jump up to that point, but I'm guessing it takes a longer duration to reach altitude and reach the destination. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, but on top of that, like Advanced Warfare have almost designed the map so that you're getting everywhere using your EXO, whereas in Black Ops 3, there would be like maybe one side of the map has an area you can wall jump, or there's like two positions that you have to thrust jump up to get to. Like there's minimal amount of area which has to use the thrust jump or the new movement features to actually get there. Like typically you're just gonna be walking or running most places anyway. So
it kind of sounds like a natural extension, just an all on the ground movement, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. They've just thrown in bits that make sense and made it work with the new movement features. They haven't gone over the top or tried to do it too much. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you touched on the map design as well. Like overall, from the maps you played, how many maps you played? It's like 3 maps or so, wasn't it? Or was it more than that?
It may have been 3 or 4. But man, like Treyarch smash map design. Like the multiplayer guys sat there and talked to us, and I was like, these guys live and breathe multiplayer, and you can tell just by the way they talk that they know exactly what they're doing. Like they love the 3-lane system. I think the 3-lane system makes sense. It makes the maps flow really well. And all the maps I played, I was like, after playing them once, I knew them inside out. And I felt like I could maybe take a sneaky route or like apply the knowledge I'd learned from playing it for the first time to make a better decision in how I got around the map for the second time. There was good places to have cover. You weren't always out in the open. Like, I don't know, it felt good, man. Like, and I wasn't getting shot in the back all the time. I know spawns are definitely going to change drastically from the build I was playing to release, but spawns didn't flip very easily, which I quite liked. So you could get pretty aggressive on the enemy and they'd still be spawning in the same place. So like if you're a good player and you like to just grind away at massive kill games, like you can really keep them locked in a spawn, but I'm sure that'll change quite a lot. But yeah, like, the maps just smashed it, man. Like I think we played one of the biggest maps in the game, and it didn't feel like I was waiting ages for gunfights. It didn't feel like it was slow at any point. Like, the maps are good. The maps are really good.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Like, just touch on the spawn thing really quick. I guess it's too early to tell, but how did they feel? I know it's kind of hard to tell because I know we, like a lot of, I think all 3 of us, we've been to events in the past where we've had the opportunity to play a particular Call of Duty early, and sometimes we have comments to make about the spawns. Most of the time they've been okay. Like, have you had the same kind of feeling with this game? Was it pretty spot on in terms of spawns, or?
Yeah, as I said, like this is a really early build.
Yeah,
and obviously,
of course.
Spawn data is something that you collect over a vast number of kills and deaths, and then work out how to adjust it. But as I said, like the spawns were hard to flip, which I think was good. I think if they flip too quickly, you get the cases where you're being shot in the back, and like you got people spawning around you. Like I know for one of the maps I played, there was a little room that had a corridor, and that corridor corridor led to the back of one of the maps, and I'd just sit in that room and just wait for people to walk through the corridor each time they'd spawned and just pick them off one by one. Obviously, like, that was kind of ignorance on the other team's behalf for keep on coming back and not taking new routes and stuff, because obviously we hadn't played the maps many times. But the spawns were good. Like, I didn't have anyone spawn behind me, didn't have anyone spawn in front of me. Like, the spawns felt nice, man. The spawns felt nice, and like, I think it's going to be an adjustment process, but I think they're gonna smash it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And the last thing to touch on map design then. So if we were to look at, let's say, Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1, what kind of feeling would you say you got from the maps? Would you say they're more similar to Black Ops 1 versus Black Ops 2, or vice versa, or would you say they're kind of like a mix of the two? Like, were they mostly like futuristic settings, or did you? It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to describe, but
I see what you mean. Definitely the map design was closer to Black Ops 2, like, definitely.
Okay.
I think Black Ops 1 had some very big, very like large open maps, whereas the Black Ops 3 maps we played were a lot more tighter. The routes to get to each other were quite slick, and like, the map design was definitely closer to Black Ops 2. One thing I would say is that, having played Black Ops 3, going back to Black Ops 2, I realized how dark and like colorless Black Ops 2 is. Whereas Black Ops 3, like, everything popped out. Like, the game was like colorful. The game like it made sense. Like, you could look at a room and look at a window and be like, okay, that window I can enter in. That door's going to be a high traffic way because it's leading straight to the back of the spawns. Like, you can look at it. Like some maps are messy. Like, Ghost just has like stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like, they don't have that. They have maps that look good, are colorful, but don't throw like stupid like dustbins everywhere.
I've been saying it for ages. Call of Duty Rubble, mate. That is that is what that game is. It's just,
since you said that, I was actually going to say, are the maps like as if it's been a war zone there, or are they just like a house? Like Raid. Even though Raid was like a sort of like some rich person's house, and there's like money everywhere. But it wasn't like smashed up or broken. But then literally every Infinity Ward map is like wrecked.
Yeah. Like,
it's the one thing I don't understand about Infinity Ward maps is they throw so many things into the maps that it destroys the flow of the map in some respects. Like, you just got like a random bin on fire somewhere, a random overturned car. That's great and everything, and it's good if you want to have a bit of cover. But then it's some stages during the map when you're playing a particular game, it's just unnecessary clutter that takes away from the overall experience, in my opinion at least.
Yeah.
And
it definitely isn't that. Like it's as if they've loaded up a map building like program, have put just blocks and routes everywhere, designed the perfect map which looks terrible, and then just thrown in a load of color, but not bothered to throw in all the other useless rubbish that just doesn't need to be there. Like, the maps just work. Like, they said actually, this is a good point. They said, because of course they've had 3 years to develop the game. I think they said it took them a whole year to make one map that worked with the movement features that they were happy with. Like, they were literally building like a map that made sense for this new movement feature. Took them a year to make one, and then started building off of that progress. So like, they really went in on the map design.
I guess they just wanted to create like a kind of system behind it first, and then expand out across the maps. Yeah, I get you. Oh,
one quick thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you'll be allowed to talk about it. Is there dynamic map elements?
I don't think there's anything like that. I don't think there's anything like that. No.
I mean, I know they mentioned there's gonna be like weather effects and all that kind of thing, and it's going to look very vibrant in terms of its overall visuals. But I mean, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that. It doesn't necessarily impact me too much if like an avalanche comes down on the map or not. If it didn't happen, I wouldn't cry about it. It doesn't really impact the game at all. It just sometimes can become an annoyance, if anything, to be honest. But anyway, let's kind of kick into Killstreaks, or at least what you can talk about Killstreaks so far. So, have you had much experience with them, and what can you tell us about them so far? That is one big question I've noticed on CharlieIntel.com as well. So, what can you tell us about them?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm the one talking a load, but obviously I'm lucky enough to have played it. So, so there weren't many kill streaks, but like I say this in my videos all the time. For me, like, I want there to be huge kill streaks that are hard to get, but when you get them, you know that it's going to smash everything up and they're going to be worthwhile. And I feel like Advanced Warfare and Ghost kind of don't have that edge, whereas Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, their kill streaks were just sick. Like I just like, you get in calling the dogs, calling the chopper gunner, you know you're going to wreck. So if we quickly go through the kill streaks I could use, so there was a UAV. Standard UAV, nothing different about that. There was the Wraith, which is basically like an attack helicopter. It was almost like a mix between an attack helicopter and a stealth chopper in terms of its power. And I'd say in terms of points, it was probably around the 8 kill streak mark, so in between the 7 and 9 kill streak mark. There was a GI unit, which was like this. The best way I could describe it was like a robot version of the stealth chopper and the escort drone. So the stealth chopper would go out and kill people on its own mission, and the escort drone would just cover you. This GI unit was like that, except it was on the ground and it was a robot. So you could choose for it to stay with you and protect you, or you could let it go off and do its own thing and start shooting at people. So hopefully that makes sense.
And can you cycle between that, like when, as and when you want, or do you set it before you call it in?
As far as I'm aware, you can call it in and you can toggle it as you want. So like you can have it go off, or you can have it stay with you. There was also the RAPS, so RAPS, which was, I believe, the new dogs. So you guys saw that big spike drone in the trailer, right, that like ripped up the ground. Yeah, basically like a load of these balls get dropped onto the map and they just start ripping up the map and chasing after the enemies. So it's basically like the new version of the dogs. And then finally, the biggest kill streak that was available for me to use was the mothership. And they did say that they'd actually brought down the score that it would cost to get it in a real version of the game, because they didn't expect any of the... So basically, we had YouTubers us playing on the day. So I was only playing against YouTubers. And then there'd been a few days before where press had come in and played. And the developers were like, look, the press are never going to earn the mothership. It's like a 20 kill streak. So I think they brought it down to either a 14 or 16 kill streak. So it cost about 1,500 scores. So that's pretty beast streak you need to go on. But I managed to earn it. I was rocking the UAV, the Wraiths, that attack helicopter, and the mothership. And the mothership, like, it's got rockets that follow where you're looking at. And, like, I'm talking, like, 5 missile-guided rockets that will explode massively on the ground. And then you've also got a minigun. Now, as I said, this is, like, pre-alpha, right? So the minigun I held down constantly. Like, it never stopped shooting. and the rockets I could shoot, like, every 5 seconds. So I think the first time I used... Literally, so we were on the biggest, most open map that was available in the alpha, and the spawns did not switch once, and I probably got like 25 kills from this mothership.
Making it rain.
Like, I got the mothership, I think, 5 times in total. Nobody else managed to earn it, but what you could do is have people come and join you. So I was the main gunner, but you could have 2 people come and assist you, and they actually had their own gunners. They weren't very powerful, but they were good at, like, tagging people up a little bit, or, like, if you want... Yeah, like you could like call people out a little bit. But yeah, the mothership was beast. Like I'm like, all I was saying when I was playing it was like, I want to use this in a public lobby ground war, because you would just go to town. Like mad. And then they said that the way you shoot it down is that I think you have to shoot maybe 3 rockets at it. Maybe even more. Like you have to shoot a lot of rockets. So you actually target different parts of the mothership. It's got like side turrets, and you have to shoot the side turrets off first. And then once you shot off both side turrets, then you can target the main ship, and then you can shoot it down.
Wow.
So yeah,
that sounds mad.
So it's kind of like a tactical way to take down a kill streak.
Yeah. Like you got to work on it. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, you come to 15 minutes. So we've covered map design and movement as well from Allié's perspective, as well as some of the kill streaks. Anyway, guys, if you have any further questions regarding this, be sure to let us know in the comment section below. I'll try and catch up perhaps with Allié when we start at JD in the future for part 4. We discuss more of your questions. And as always, be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and let us know what you thought about all the comments Allié's made so far in the comment section below as well. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for all further Charlie Insight content going forward. And again, thanks for watching, and see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.